Hi, and welcome back to Snap. So you want a more advanced project for the holiday season? Here goes. Let's make a Snowflake Designer. This is from an idea of a scratcher called Chalk Marrow, who came up with this idea, and we've now ported it over to Snap, and we're going to show you some of the cool new features actually that allow us to do this. So we're first going to start again with a background, switch to the stage, go to the pen category, take out the set background color block, and choose something that is a dark background that's maybe Christmassy. So I'm going to choose a very dark red. Actually, I'm going to try to choose a very dark red. How about this? Looks like an ugly Christmas sweater. So now that we have the background, what we want to do is we want to mold and model a sheet of paper that we can fold. So I'm going to rename the sprite into paper, and I'm going to make it undraggable by clicking on the draggable check mark, so now I can't drag it. We could draw a costume that looks like a sheet of paper, but in this case we want to be very precise about it. So we're going to compute the sheet of paper and the fold of it. So we have to draw a triangle that we can then fold and mirror so it becomes a sheet of paper again. So I'm going to go to the motion category. I'm going to say go to the middle, point upward. That's the direction 1. Now I want to actually put the pen down. I want to maybe before make sure that the pen size is 1. And I want to draw in a white color. So I'm going to select something that is white, whitish. And now I want to move up there. And for this, I'm going to make a little variable. And that is going to be the radius. So I'm going to set the radius to, here's something that is almost the height of my, half the height of my stage. So I'm going to set the radius to 160 steps. And then I want to move up that radius. Let's check this out. So now I have a white line going from the center up. And now in order to get a 6-fold symmetry, that's actually a 12-fold symmetry as we're folding the snowflake, I want this to be a 30 degrees angle. So now I need to find out if I turn 90 degrees here. I want to find out, I'll put in a clear here as I'm going there, clear here and pen up so I can reset the script. I want to find out how far I have to move the sprite here so I can return again and that this is a 30 degrees angle. This is what makes it advanced. We're going to use trigonometry functions for this. And this is the tangent function. So now what we do is we move our radius times the tangent of 30 degrees. Let's try this. And now we go back to the center. And here we are again. We just drew a rectangle. And now we want to fill it. So we're going to get the pen up We're going to point in the direction of 15 degrees. We're going to move somewhere in the middle. So we're going to move the radius, half the radius divided by 2. Here we are. Now we're just going to say fill. And now we have filled the rectangle. And now comes the trick. Now we want to use that rectangle as a costume. So we've drawn the rectangle. It is a pen trails, and we want to wear the pen trails as costumes. So when we make a costume out of pen trails, the rotation center will be at the very point, at the very position of the sprite. So before we make the pen trails a costume, we want to position the sprite where we want the rotation center to be. Since we want to end up rotating this, we want the rotation center to be the center of the stage. So I'm again telling the sprite to go to the center and to point to the right. And now I want to tell it to switch to the costume of the pen trails. And then I want to clear the pen trails. So if I click on this, now my paper sprite actually has the shape of this fold. And so what we want to do is that whenever we press the green flag, we want this fold to appear. We want a new fold. Now let's unfold it. So we want two states. We want to make a variable that is set folded. And we're going to initialize that variable. We're going to say folded is true because we're starting out with this shape. Now, when we press the space key, we want to unfold it. In order to unfold it, we want to repeat this 6 times. Remember, a 6-fold symmetry. And what we want to do is, we want to stamp it. Then we want to turn it 60 degrees. That's 360 degrees, the full turn divided by the number of turns. So you want to turn it 60 degrees, but then we also want to mirror it. We want to mirror the current costume. So what we do is we switch to the costume. And how do we mirror the current costume? In the sensing category, we can get a reference to the current costume, but we don't need this here because in the looks category, we can get a new costume. We get an effect on the costume, and this is the stretch effect. We want to stretch the current costume by -100 on the x-axis, and we don't want to stretch it on the y-axis. So if I click on this, you see a flipped costume. So we're flipping the costume. We're again stamping it. And we're flipping it back again, and we're just duplicating this again. Let's actually try this. See, this is the shape that is going to be. Now we can do a little visual trick. Let me again press the green flag. See, the fold is true again. I'm going to hide the fold variable. We can apply a little graphic effect before we stamp it. So we can say, the second time when we stamp it, we can set the brightness effect to, let's say, -10. And then after we stamp it, we can clear the graphic effect again. Let's try this now. Now it kind of almost looks like a folded star. Okay, so we want to be able to unfold it, but we also want to be able to refold it to keep working on it. So we take out an if and else block, and so we can say if it is folded, unfolding it. Otherwise, we want to refold it, but we don't want to make a new piece of paper. We just want to fold up what we already have. And in order to do this, really, all we need to do is clear it. And then we're updating our variable, the fold variable. We're setting the folded variable to be not folded. We also want to hide it as we stamp it. And we want to show it when we unfold it. The same thing here. We want to show it when we make a new one. Let's try this. I'm going to press space. It's unfolded now. I'm going to fold it again. Unfolded, folded, make a new one. So far so good, and so far so boring. Now comes the fun part. We're going to make a new sprite, and we're going to draw it. This time, I'm drawing a new sprite, but all I'm drawing is really just I'm going to make a little dot. A little, let's say a little bluish dot here. Not too big, maybe like this. Okay, let's try this. I'm going to call this the cutter. I'm also going to make it undraggable. And what I want the cutter to do is, when the green flag is pressed, I want it to forever follow my mouse pointer. So forever go to the mouse position, go to the mouse pointer, and when the button is pressed, when the mouse button is pressed, I want it to cut away from the folded shape. So in the pen category, we have a cut from block. We're going to take out the cut from block, and we're going to cut from the paper. And this is it. We're done. Let's check this out. I'm going to make this big. I'm going to press the green flag. Here's my cutter following my mouse. Now, when I press this, I can cut away something from the shape. So I've cut away this. Let's actually press the space key to see how it unfolds. Now I've got a little star. I'm pressing the space key again, so I can cut away here. And after each cut, I can see how it looks. This is turning into a star. Let's actually cut out something here. And check this out again. It's turning into a snowflake. I'm going to cut out something here. Here's another cut. I'll make a small one here, and maybe a bunch of cuts here. And here's our breathtakingly beautiful snowflake. Now it's up to you. Make your own Snowflake Designer and make your own beautiful shapes.